Welcome to Shifting Veils. My name is Michelle,
And I'm Isaiah.
and this is where we talk about things we find just outside of Clearview. So if you like the unexplained, possibly paranormal, and always strange, stick around, go ahead and like, follow, subscribe, and share our Spotify and YouTube channels to your spooky friends.
This episode, we journey into the haunted heart of Ireland's Wicklow Mountains, where the remnants of the infamous Hellfire Club still cling to the landscape like ghostly scars. Once a hunting lodge turned den of debauchery in the 18th century, these charred ruins are soaked in sinister legends, tales of demonic visitors, occult rituals, and a spectral black cat said to guard the grounds. But beyond the local folklore lies a disturbing truth. Rituals, disappearances, and sightings that stretch into modern times. What energy still pulses beneath those stones? And why do so many who visit report an overwhelming sense of dread? Now dim the lights, steady your nerves, and follow us as we peel back the layers of history, myth, and mystery surrounding the Hellfire Club ruins. Because some stories weren't meant to stay buried.
They say the Hellfire Club's ruins are silent, but only if you listen like a stranger. For those who know its story, the air still murmurs secrets too old for history books. Beneath the ivy-covered stones and soot-dark walls lies a tale stitched with occult indulgence, political intrigue, and the whispers of rituals that twisted more than just morality. Tonight we begin with the earliest sightings, strange figures robed in firelight, seen dancing in the woods long after the club was abandoned. Were they echoes, reenactments, or something else entirely? The earliest sightings tied to the Hellfire Club ruins are steeped in eerie ambiguity, part folklore, part whispered testimony. Shortly after the club's decline in the late 18th century, multiple sources mentioned seeing human-like shapes cloaked or robed moving silently across the hillside. While some chalked it up to superstition, others insisted the figures were real and ritualistic in nature. These weren't just ghost stories. They were often described as reenactments of the club's infamous rituals, complete with flickering lights and guttural chants that echoed through the trees. One particularly chilling account from the early 1800s tells of a farmer who claimed to see a horned figure standing atop the ruins during a thunderstorm, its eyes glowing like embers. He fled, but swore the creature watched him until he disappeared into the valley. And then there's the tale of the spectral black cat, said to be a demonic guardian summoned during one of the club's rituals. Visitors have reported seeing its glowing eyes in the underbrush, always just out of reach, always watching. These aren't just haunted ruins we're talking about, though. The historical context behind the sightings at the Hellfire Club ruins is deeply entwined with the club's notorious legacy and the unsettling origins of its meeting place.
The lodge on Montpelier Hill was built by powerful Irish politician William Connolly in 1725. William Colin... Oh, Jesus.
Colonist. Damn colonist.
William Connolly was born in 1662 in Ballyshannon, Ireland. He was a lawyer, politician, and Speaker of the Irish House of Commons. He was one of the richest and most influential men in Ireland during this time. Connolly amassed wealth by acquiring lands that had been confiscated during the Williamite Wars in Ireland. He became Speaker of the Irish House of Commons and was known for his power and political clout. William Connolly had the lodge constructed as a private retreat and hunting lodge, not unlike what many wealthy landowners did at the time. He chose a location for its scenic views and remoteness. The lodge was made of stone and featured a commanding view over Dublin City. According to local legend, Montpelier Hill was already considered an ancient and possibly sacred site before Connolly built his lodge, and he may have unknowingly disturbed it during construction. It's believed that the site may have contained a prehistoric passage, grave, or cairn, and that the builders used stones from this ancient site in the construction of the lodge. As the legend goes, this act cursed the lodge, and strange happenings were reported even before the Hellfire Club came into the picture.
After Connolly's death in 1729, the lodge fell into disuse and the site was abandoned for a time. But in the 1740s, it was taken over by Richard Parsons, first Earl of Ross. Richard Parsons was a flamboyant and scandalous figure in 18th century Irish high society. He was a nobleman, writer, and self proclaimed. I can't talk anymore. Yeah, okay.
I've spread the curse.
You did. You did. He was a self proclaimed libertine. Libertine? Libertine?
Libertine.
Libertine? He was infamous for his decadent lifestyle and mockery of religion. Richard had a fascination with alchemy, the occult, and parodying religious rites. He allegedly wrote pamphlets under pseudonyms mocking the clergy and social norms of the time. Some reports claim he kept a black cat as his familiar, and people whispered that the cat was actually the devil in disguise. Leave that cat alone.
Yeah, really.
Wild rumors swirled around him. Everything from secret pacts with demons to rituals involving human skulls and bones. Richard would later go on to form the Hellfire Club. His charisma and noble title gave the club a kind of social legitimacy among the elite, even as their activities shocked and frightened ordinary Dublineers. He had no issue recruiting members of the Irish aristocracy and joining in a secretive, debauched society, infamous for drinking, animal sacrifices, black masses, orgies, gambling, and occult rituals. What is absolutely wild to me is that this is about the same time in history in Ireland that women found doing these things these guys were doing would be labeled a witch and executed.
Well, see, I'm not really surprised by that because even during the medieval times when, people were worried about witches and everything, um, men were doing the same thing. The same thing.
Yeah.
They were wizards or whatever you want to call them, sorcerers or whatever. They didn't call themselves witches, but they did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But when the women were found doing it,
It was
it was an
not
issue.
okay.
Nope.
It's bullshit. It's bullshit.
Even with the familiar, like the black cat being a familiar,
Yeah.
like that was a thing before that. So it's just more of the same BS.
It's messed up.
Hmm.
It's messed up. While secrecy and rumor shroud much of what happened during the Hellfire Club's meetings, some stories have survived. During one of their meetings, the members set the lodge on fire accidentally. A servant was doused in alcohol and set on fire as part of a ritual. The fire got out of control, and much of the lodge was damaged. This is said to be only one of many instances of abuse of servants and animals during the club's events. Several reports suggest that animals, particularly cats, goats, and birds, were sacrificed during Hellfire Club ceremonies. You know, I did watch a video, like somebody touring this lodge, and it's kind of wild because it's just this lodge on a hill, and you go inside, and from this normal looking lodge, you go down into this cave system that's like expansive. It's huge. And it is like the walls are soot covered in some areas. It's really kind of neat. Um,
Is the soot covered walls? Is that because of the fire that you just mentioned?
I'm assuming. I'm assuming. I don't know. Um, there is a um, a stream that runs through a particular part of the cave as well, and they called it the River Styx, like the Hellfire Club called it the River Styx.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
just this lodge on top of the hill with this huge cave system underneath, and it's really cool. I mean, people tour it still today, so it's kind of neat. Um, their meetings were infamous for their mockery of Christian practices through masses where naked women were used as an altar, holy texts were burned, and ancient deities were invoked. When the lodge was restored in the 20th century, a human skeleton was found sealed in one of the walls. Rumors tell that it was the remains of a sacrifice or a guest who never left, or maybe it was a guest who didn't leave because they were sacrificed.
I was gonna say they never left. Obviously, they never left.
Richard Parsons died in 1741, still relatively young. His cause of death is usually attributed to excessive alcohol consumption, though legends, of course, suggest a darker end befitting a Hellfire Club founder. After his death, the club's influence declined. but its terrifying reputation only grew. Parsons' name remains forever tied to Irish legends of the occult, the Montpelier Lodge, and ghost stories that persist to this day.
These sightings gained traction in the 19th century as oral traditions and local lore amplified the club's reputation as a supernatural hotspot. The Hellfire Club's legacy created a cultural imprint. Visitors often arrive primed to experience fear or unease, which may contribute to the frequency of reported phenomena. The site's isolation, ruined architecture, and historical associations with blasphemy and the occult all reinforce its haunted reputation. The psychology behind haunted places like the Hellfire Club ruins is a fascinating blend of evolutionary instinct, environmental cues, and cultural storytelling. Certain architectural features like crumbling walls, narrow corridors, and echoing chambers create sensory disorientation. These settings mimic the wrong mix of stimuli that our brains associate with danger, making us feel uneasy even if we know we're safe. Haunted sites often come with layered stories passed down through generations. These legends prime visitors to expect fear, which can heighten their sensitivity to normal stimuli. In the case of the Hellfire Club, the desecration of a Neolithic tomb, the club's occult reputation, and the eerie isolation of Montpelier Hill all combine to create a psychological perfect storm. Visitors aren't just reacting to the ruins, they're responding to centuries of embedded fear. Understanding the psychological triggers behind haunted places helps explain why the Hellfire Club ruins continue to unsettle visitors. But what happens when those feelings are backed by real experiences?
Modern day hikers and thrill seekers still report strange phenomena atop Montpelier Hill, from unexplained cold spots and disembodied whispers to sightings of shadowy figures and the infamous Black Cat. The ruins remain a magnet for paranormal activity. According to Secret Ireland, visitors have described ghostly howls echoing through the woods, sudden drops in temperature near the ruins, apparitions seen darting between trees or standing silently in the lodge's remains. These accounts aren't just folklore. They're part of ongoing investigations by paranormal researchers and curious locals. Despite centuries of decay, the Hellfire Club ruins remain a focal point for paranormal researchers and curious visitors. Paranormal teams have used EMF detectors that have recorded unexplained spikes in electromagnetic fields around the ruins, particularly near the fireplace and former meeting rooms. These fluctuations are often interpreted as indicators of paranormal presence, especially when no electrical sources are nearby. EVP recordings have also been captured. Some EVPs include phrases like leave, watching, that's weird, that's creepy, and even a chilling, he's here.
Ooh.
Who's here?
Gibbous.
They have recorded temperature drops and localized cold vocalized cold spots.
Vocalized.
I don't know where I was
Ooh,
going.
it's cold.
Even during warm weather, these drops often coincide with feelings of dread or unease among investigators. During investigations, they have had multiple sightings of shadowy figures, especially near the entrance and along the tree line surrounding the ruins. Some investigators claim to have seen a black cloaked figure vanish into thin air, while others described that large black cat with glowing eyes previously mentioned. They even experienced being touched and pushed despite being alone. Who goes there alone?
Right.
One account involved a backpack being tugged while walking through the lodge. These findings, while not definitive proof of the supernatural, continue to fuel the Hellfire Club's reputation as one of Ireland's most haunted locations. High on Montpelier Hill, the wind still whispers through the broken stones of that old hunting lodge, a place where shadows danced by candlelight and laughter turned to screams. Whether true stories or those twisted by time, one thing remains certain. The Hellfire Club left behind more than ruins. It left a stain, soaked into the very soil. Thanks for joining us.
If you've got a tale of your own, haunted, historical, or just plain weird, send it our way. We might just share it in a future episode.
That's bye for now. Close the door behind you. We don't want anything getting out.